Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So as you guys know, I've had this 2018 F87 M2 for the week. This is actually my friend's, it's not mine, I'm just doing a review on it. It's a car that I'm interested in purchasing. It's something that I wanted to kind of get a feel for, daily drive, do the whole entire, feel like it's my car type of thing. Drive to work, go bring the kids to school and all that stuff. And just see if it's something worthwhile, see if it's something that I am maybe interested in down the line. So he was gracious enough to lend me his M2. He borrowed my truck, and I've been driving it all week. However, it is just not up to my standards in terms of cleanliness. Plus, as a thank you to him, one of the things I always do when I borrow my friends' cars is give it a good wash. So as you can see, the wheels are filthy. The entire car down the whole entire, everywhere is just absolutely terrible. It is his daily driver, so he uses it year round. He has winter wheels and tires as well, so it gets used and abused. I actually detailed this about 3 years ago. I did ceramic coating with my normal G-Technic CSL and XOV4, and it seems to be holding up pretty well since it was raining a couple days ago and the paint was still beading pretty nicely. So I'm really looking forward to cleaning this up. The wheels are indeed actually like a silver chrome with black accents. They look all black now, so it's gonna be a pretty massive change. Although white on camera always looks clean, but up close, as you can see, is pretty darn dirty. So looking forward to cleaning this up. It's nice and small, so it should be a pretty easy wash, but I figured I'd do a little bit of a wash and talk with you guys. Kind of talk through my reasoning as to why I'm driving this. And just kind of what I think. I will have a full conclusion review of what I think of this car on Monday, but I figured I would just kind of go over my thoughts and kind of what's going through my mind since I've had this for the week. So let's go ahead, let's start on the wheels and get this wash started. All right, so F87 M2. This car is tugging on my heartstrings, and I'm not sure why. Well, I know why. It's a great car to begin with, but this has been a car that I have been seriously interested in ever since it came out. And the main reason is because of the overall size. This car reminds me a lot of my E46 M3 that I had, because I've been finding over the years every M car that comes out gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the F80 M3 and now the G80 M3, those were the size of pretty much M5s. Now M5s are as the size of 7 Series and so on and so forth. Everything is just getting so massive. So to find a car that reminds me of the E46 size really, like I said, tugs on my heartstrings. And not to mention this one is manual. So it is a proper M car in a proper transmission. I do love the DCT that this comes with, that you can option it with, but I just prefer manual. It's just a much more fun transmission, I'm sure you guys know. But I have been enjoying my time in this immensely, and I really didn't expect myself to like it this much. I knew I was going to like it and enjoy it, but I just find myself wanting to drive it over and over again, even with the Porsche and the G80 M3, even my STI, I enjoy those drives, but something about this one, I don't know what it is. It might be the wheelbase, the shorter wheelbase, or just the overall size, or I don't know. It's just something about this, the simplicity of it. I think that's what really, really kind of makes it interesting for me. Not to mention, it's not crazy powered. It's only 365. So, it's enough power for fun on the street, but it's not enough to really get you in crazy trouble. It's very, very controllable and predictable. I want to say it almost antagonizes you to kind of push it and go faster. It's you can be within the limits on the street and you not be in fear of your life, basically. Just because this M2 is great and everything, I still want to try, and I think I would like even more, the M2 competition, which comes with the S55 motor, the one that's in the M3 and M4, the F80 and F82. That's just kind of the end-all be-all to the M2, to this generation. And I think I would really, really enjoy that car. And to be honest, I've been really looking into them to see if it's something that I would like to add to the garage at some point. It definitely is a really, really cool car. But I think the competition would really kind of be the cherry on top. So I definitely will say this. This car has 34,000 miles on it or so. So it's pretty low mileage considering the year. It's 2018, so it's 4 years old. I would definitely say these tires, which are Michelin Pilot Super Sports, can definitely use a replacing, especially the rears. Because this car is very, very easy to break loose, but it's just so controllable, even with, you know, lower tread tires. But it's just such a fun car, and you know, I really do get it. I've always been such an M3 fanboy. I still am, but this car, it just makes sense. You know, even the F80, I feel like the size overall is a little big for an M car, although it has a lot of power. It's same motor that would be in the competition, the S55, but it's 444 horsepower, has a lot of torque, and it's a good car. I've actually driven one before, and I'm trying to get one on the channel to review, same way that I do these. You know, just live with it for a week or a couple days at least and see what it's all about, and see if it's worth it, because honestly, I'm kind of back and forth between M2 comp or just kind of spending almost the same amount of money on a F80 M3. Like it's the same car, but you get 2 extra doors. Personally, I think you get a little bit more for your money on the F80, just because you get 2 extra doors and, you know, a little bit more car, I guess. But just the size of the M2 is just, it's perfect. So I don't know, I'm conflicted, and that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out here, if you know, which kind of direction I want to go. Wow, check out that. It is a completely different color wheel. Let's go over to the passenger side just so I can show you a comparison. Literally, it looks black. It looks like it's plasti dip black. And then over here we have a nice clean front wheel. You can see the accents on there. The brakes are clean, so big difference. Now I'm gonna move on to the back. So I'm gonna go around and finish all the wheels, and then we can catch back up once I get onto the actual paint of the car. So we got all the wheels cleaned up, everything is looking good. I ended up cleaning the tail, the tips as well. They were really dirty and caked on with carbon from the exhaust, but they are super shiny and back to looking good. And yeah, the wheels, it's amazing how much better these wheels, or just the car, looks in general with clean wheels. These wheels are actually very nice. I like them a lot. Look really good, lowered, spaced out. The wheels that come on M cars are usually really nice. The competition wheels are a little bit more of a pain in the butt, just because there's so many spokes and everything, but these ones, they're really nice, and I like the color and everything. And like I said, spaced out and lower, this thing will look awesome. But all right, let's go ahead, let's rinse down the actual body of the car, the paint, and we can get started on the actual wash. Holy bully. So I noticed there was leaves and everything up here just from seeing down in the window cowl up here, but this engine bay is absolutely filthy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a cleaning of the engine bay as well. I'm gonna vacuum up all the junk and leaves over here. This car is parked outside, like I said, it's a daily driver, so you know, it gets dirty, not a big deal. But what I'm gonna do is actually clean up all the leaves with the vacuum, and I'm gonna spray it down with an all-purpose cleaner, do some agitation, then I'm just gonna hose it off and spray it down with some plastic dressing, and we should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead, spray it down, clean everything up, and get it looking much better. that was extremely dirty. Really happy I did that. Super clean. All I did was use some Green Star all-purpose cleaner by Kochemi. You dilute it and then sprayed it on, agitated it with a brush, went around, just got all the nooks and crannies as best as I could. I wasn't going too crazy. I can literally spend like 2 hours on this and just getting it perfect, but I think we did a pretty decent job doing it quickly and at least getting it cleaned up and back to looking pretty decent. Now what I'm actually going to do is just spray some plastic dressing on here, let it dry, and then it's going to look perfect the next time you open it. So let me go ahead and do that, and then we can finally get started on the actual car. All right, so what I ended up doing was spraying down some plastic dressing and then ended up wiping it down a little bit. Still got to dry, but man, huge difference compared to what it was before. It looks like a brand new motor and everything looks up to my standards. A couple little spots that I would work on a little bit more if I had the time, but honestly, for just 15-20 minute job, much happier with how that is looking. All right, engine bay is done. Now we're going to move on to the actual wash. So I got my buckets ready, and I also got my foam cannon ready. I use Kochemi GSF. It's my favorite soap. So I'm going to go ahead, foam this down, and then I'm going to let it sit for a while since it is so dirty. I did spray it down pretty well with the pressure washer at first, but since it is so dirty, I'm going to let it sit on a little bit longer than I normally do, just to kind of loosen up as much dirt as possible before I really start to do the wash. So let's go ahead, foam it down, and then I'll catch back up with you once I'm ready to actual wash. All right, so I let GSF sit on the paint for a solid 10 minutes. So as you can see, it's running off the paint. That is what we want. We want it to break up and loosen the dirt, pull it off the actual paint, and drop it on the floor. Granted, it's you still need to do some agitation with the sponge and everything to get it super clean, but it's just one of those steps that I love doing, and it really, really does help. I don't rinse it off. I leave the soap on to keep the paint nice and slick, and with all the soap that I use in the wash bucket, I've never had any issues with scratching or anything like that. So let's go ahead, let's start washing. So all I do is I work from the top down. I'll use one side of the mitt, and then I'll flip it over to the other side, and then I'll go ahead and do a rinse in the rinse bucket over there. So I usually start on the roof, do the glass or the windshield and the back window, and then I'll rinse it off, and then I'll start on the hood and kind of work my way down. It's just typically what I've always done, and seems to be working for me. It's not the best way, it's not the right way, it's not the wrong way, it's just my way. So now I'm flipping over to the other side since it's nice and clean, and just gotta wipe down the roof. The thing about white paint is you get these little black specks. It gets this like tar and stuff. It comes right off, but you can see every little black speck on white paint. Kind of annoying, but at the same time, white is fantastic, staying clean in terms of swirling and stuff. Because my WRX hatchback was white, and I loved it. It was super easy to maintain overall. All right, so now that I use both sides of the mitt, I'm gonna head over to my rinse bucket, dunk it in here, try to get as much of the grime and dirt off, squeeze it out, then dip it back in the soap bucket. Now I'm gonna head over to the hood and clean this up. So very satisfying. This car is fun to clean because it's so small. I actually hate, or I don't enjoy washing my truck because it literally takes me like almost 4 hours to do the whole entire thing because it's just so massive. But when it is clean, it's very satisfying. With small cars like this, like I enjoyed cleaning the Carrera T, because that was so small as well, and it just cleaned up so nice. And this is kind of the same thing. It's just super easy to clean, and it's going to turn out great because white is amazing. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go around the car, clean everything up, rinse it off, and then I'll catch back up with you guys in a little bit. So before I move on to the door and the front fender, I just wanted to show you the difference between just how dirty it was, because it's very hard to show on camera, but that is the dirty door and that is a clean quarter panel. So pretty insane. You can tell on the side skirt the best. It's insane how dirty this was. As you can tell, the PPF there is looking a little yellow and the dirt kind of gets around the edges. I usually just take that off, you know, on my cars if it ever comes with it. I'm not a big fan of it, but or at least replace it because it gets pretty yellow and gross over time. Not much I can do about it, but yeah, I thought that was funny, just the difference. It looks like a totally different color. All right, so let me go ahead and finish up this side, and then we can jump over to the other side. All right, guys, so we are done. I got a little ahead of myself. I just wanted to get the car finished up, but it was a pretty thorough cleaning. You know, like I said, the car was pretty dirty, and it's been a while since you had the time to actually get it washed and, you know, have it done properly. I started thinking it was kind of my own car, and, you know, that's just how I treat things anyway. So I really did all the door jams and everything. There's a bunch of leaves and dirt in the trunk jams and stuff. Cleaned all that out. I'll actually show you, but I didn't get it on camera of how insane it actually was, but they are spick and span now, super clean. It was pretty insane actually how dirty they were. So I spent a good like 45 minutes just cleaning everything out, and I put some OG drying aid on here as well, so it's going to be protected, and it's going to, you know, kind of refresh the ceramic coat just a little bit. The paint still feels really nice, really smooth actually. You know, BMW paint in general is pretty hard. So it tends to hold up pretty well compared to, you know, what I'm used to with the Subaru STI paint. You know, it's really soft and it doesn't hold up as well, but, you know, it definitely can use a little bit of a refresh, but it's really not that bad. Clean the interior, it wasn't that bad, but all the leather and everything was all shiny, so I went ahead and cleaned all that up nicely, vacuumed, and the interior is up to my standards. Not that it really was that bad. The interior is actually better than the exterior, but overall, I mean, there's no shininess on the shift knob or anything, and it just looks a lot cleaner and a nicer place to be. And I'm really happy I got a chance to clean it up. You know, I'm so used to cleaning up my STI and, you know, my cars and everything that I kind of maintain. I know that I am personally a little different than others. I stay on top of it more than other people, and, you know, I make a point to make sure I stay on top of the cleanliness of my cars. And other people just don't have my same OCD-ness and mentality when it comes to that stuff. So I totally get it. People get busy. I understand people aren't as crazy as I am when it comes to cleaning cars. So, you know, no hard feelings or anything like that. But Mark, stay on top of it, make sure it stays clean because it looks really good right now. That is the cleaning of the M2. I still have this car for a few days, and like I said, I will be doing a full final review of this car and what I think of it. But I will say I have enjoyed my time immensely in it. I'm starting to really look into it, and you know, the M2 competition with the S55, as I mentioned earlier, is definitely up my alley. And I don't know. It's kind of in the lead right now when it comes to cars that I'm really interested in picking up. So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a fun little cleanup of the M2. I'll catch back up with you guys on Monday with the final outcome and my conclusion of this car. If you guys have any questions at all about the car or anything else at all, please leave them in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll catch you guys next.